Welcome back to another episode of Not Travis Joe and Dad. And today we'll be talking about some of Dad's hunts in Alabama and some baseball.
Yeah, it's really just the hunt in Alabama we wanted to
Yeah.
kind of cover. If you heard the last podcast, it was running over to Alabama for a couple of days to check out a little piece of property. I guess we can just go ahead and set it up and get right into it, huh?
Yeah.
Right. So my buddy Chase has a friend that actually has about 150 acres kind of in, we'll just call it the lower Black Belt region of Alabama. I don't want to get too specific, and just hasn't done a lot with it yet. So Chase wanted to go over there and take a look at it, see what we could do to, just kind of get it ready. It hasn't been hunted in 2 years. It had 3
Wow.
food plots. Yeah. Had 3 food plots already put in there. Had some of those sportsman condo stands in there.
Sounds fancy.
You know which ones I'm talking about? The little rubber ones that make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
It's extremely hot. But yeah, so we wanted to go over there and check it out. So actually I headed over there Monday of this week. I was about 3.5 hours away from us. So I hit the road and got there at about, I guess probably 9:30. I got there around 9 because I left at 5:30, stopped and got gas, coffee, all that kind of stuff. I got there about 9. And it was cold. On the way in, actually saw deer on the side of the road. It's a pretty cool little piece of property. It's tucked away off a county road. It's kind of got, it's got a cattle farm across from it. But just, it's not really kind of out there where people are just all the way, like, just running up and down the roads a bunch. So we got there, and on the way, Chase was like, "Hey, this is good. You may want to cancel your duck hunt on Wednesday. We may stay an extra day." I was like, "I'm down." And he was sending me a video. First place he looked just had massive scrapes all over it.
Yeah, Dad showed me a video. Massive.
Yeah, just a lot of scrapes. So we were pretty excited about that. And I got there, like I said, 9:30. Chase kind of showed me a little bit of the area that he saw. And when we talk about scrapes, we ended up hunting this area probably most of the time. It was just, what did we count? 40-something scrapes.
Yeah.
And about a 200-yard linear pattern, rubs, scrapes, just all over. And so we wanted to kind of back out of there pretty quick after we took a look around and kind of go check out some of the rest of the property. And so we did. Got to the other side, checked out another field. So that section that had all the scrapes, it's kind of a round food plot was kind of the central part of it. And then there's kind of like a cut road. You kind of come in, you go left down the road, right down the road. But that road had all the scrapes. And so we got in there and looked around there. But then and that food plot was completely cut. It actually, I think the guy that owns the property bush hogged it in May. So it was fairly clean. When we get to the other one, it looks like maybe it was halfway cut. This is kind of more of an L shape. But it had really, I think I showed you the videos, just had tall stuff in the food plot. Like to the right side, just really tall grass. Left, you could kind of see. We put a camera up there, went and checked out the other spot. And that one had not been cut at all. We didn't even walk around that food plot because it was taller than I was. Probably not as tall as Chase, but definitely taller than I was.
Yeah, Chase is tall.
But that food plot, to get to it, there's a pipeline. Or power line, I should say. So there's actually a pretty cool power line on the property. I think it's about 375, 400 yards long.
Oh, was it cut or no?
Yeah, the power company keeps that cut.
Oh.
So it was cut and had kind of like a little dip off in it and all that kind of stuff.
So you could hunt there?
Yeah, we actually sat there one afternoon. No, not one afternoon. Like kind of midday, we didn't want to run to town because like the nearest town from this place is about 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So one day we didn't want to go to town. So we grabbed our spots, figured out we needed some more cameras, and Chase wanted another feeder for one of the food plots. So we run to town, try to find a feed store. Feed store didn't have a whole lot. It was a little town. And we ended up finding a place to eat a burger at, ate that, and Chase was like, I just kind of want to drive around and look at see if we can find anything else. And we actually found an old school hardware store. And got in there, and it had everything you ever wanted. They had all your deer hunting stuff outside. You get inside, they actually had baseball and football cards.
Seriously?
They had guns behind the counter. They had all your deer hunting stuff. They even had turkey hunting stuff out. They had air fryers and propane and actual hardware stuff. They had clothes and shoes, and it literally was an old school, like, small town hardware. So we were able to get some of the stuff we needed, got it, and went back to camp. And I say camp, went back to the property and actually went and hunted. Me and Chase hunted the same section, kind of that oakwood bottom. There was a rinkety ladder stand that I ended up climbing up in. Horribly uncomfortable. parts of it were loose. I needed to take a wrench and ratchet. A couple months after this, I looked at it, and the main seat, it's a 2-person stand, but it wasn't. There was an upper bar that went around your back, and it just wasn't a good ladder stand, and like the top was a little shaky. But before I got in it, I actually put another ratchet strap on it. I made sure everything was secure. But then the actual seat itself was a little loose. And I look back at the way it sits is you have kind of like your mesh seat. And
Yeah.
then there's a bar running down the middle, which is kind of like your main support bar.
I bet that's comfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't. But it had a bolt and a nut, and it was basically loose. And I had a lot of faith in that one little lock washer. It didn't budge, but it was it needed to be snug. But anyway, the first night I get in that, and not a lot of action. We got in kind of early. I say kind of early. It wasn't really early, but we got in like maybe 2:30. Shooting light was over at about 5:40, and I get in there at about 5:05. I have a deer walk out, Spike, and he's walking up and down, and I can basically see 80 yards to my right, counting down a road, and
Yeah.
80 to 100 yards of I say right. I can see 80 to 100 yards, 80 yards in front of me, and about 80 to 100 behind me. But yeah, but there's a bunch of limbs behind me, and so I saw the Spike. He kind of walked around. He actually smelled some of the scrapes I was looking at. He goes off into the woods. A couple does come out. And then I thought I hear like a deer grunt, and it was like a little bitty meh, meh, meh. And that Spike, a few more does came out, and then that Spike comes running, and he's actually running does, grunting, meh, meh. And it was just it wasn't loud, it was a little, and there were deer, probably 7 deer or something like that, and this little Spike was running, and it got dark. Actually, shooting light was over, and there were several deer that came out within 5 yards of this ladder stand. And I looked down at one point, and there's a deer at the bottom of the ladder. I'm talking like, I'm trying to video it, but it's dark. The deer is at the bottom of the ladder. This ladder stands probably 18 feet, maybe 20, but I think it's more like 18. And the deer is sniffing the ladder because I actually sprayed a little bit of doe estrus on my boots when I walked in. I'm thinking this was a button buck. And so there were deer running around in front of me, and I heard this little Spike grunting, and they all got within 5 yards of me easily, but then this deer just hung out at the bottom of the ladder stand and was sniffing the bottom of the ladder and would not leave. And I text Chase and was like, "Hey, I'm pinned down. I'm gonna be a minute." And I was freezing because it gotten cold. And I don't think shooting light was over at 5:40, and I wasn't able to. I didn't get down until 6:15. And I thought I was clear at 6:15. Come to find out, they were just off into the woods, and I couldn't see them or hear them. And sorry, I had to pause that because the dogs went crazy. So yeah, I couldn't see the deer. They were off in the woods. So when I actually climbed down, I spooked a couple and started to walk out. And when I looked up the hill to get out, there were like 2 eyes looking down at me, right where one of the big scrapes were, and the rub was pretty nice rub on a cedar tree. I have no idea what it was, but so I got out the next morning. It was supposed to be 24 degrees, and I didn't bring enough clothes to go sit in the ladder stand at 24 degrees. So I jumped in one of the sportsman condos on what we call the L-shaped plot and brought my heater. Completely cheated, and I'm okay with it. I had some coffee and a heater, and it was frigid cold. And I actually only saw one deer that whole morning. I sat from sunup till about 10, maybe a little later. And it was one horn deer, kind of like we see out where we hunt. He had like 3 or 4 on one side and like a little nub on the other side. But that morning, Chase had a little 8-point running around chasing doe. I say a little 8-point. It was a nice little 8-point chasing does, and had a Spike chasing does. And that wasn't anything we were going to shoot. And that was really kind of it on that morning. I'm trying to think what morning this was. That was Tuesday morning, right? Yeah. And so really kind of we extended the stay. We were supposed to leave after that hunt on Tuesday. We got another hotel room, and we were going to hunt Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. So basically 4 hunts. We hung around Tuesday because we didn't feel like going back to town. That's when we sat on the gas line.
Oh.
And we just took a couple chairs and sat on it just to see what we could see. Apparently the rut was, it's either just now starting or it's going because there's enough sign, and we saw a bunch of little deer.
Down there, it's just now starting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they actually go to February 10th.
Really? Because here it's pretty much already over.
Yeah, they go to February 10th down there. So we kind of just hung around, sat kind of just on this gas line to look, and actually had a doe blow at us behind us. Of course, like everywhere, the wind was supposed to be coming out of the north, supposed to be in our face, and it was blowing out of the south and southeast and southwest, and then it would be north. We were really just kind of killing time.
Yeah, that's normally what happens.
Yeah, and then we hunted Tuesday night. I went back to the same ladder stand. I'm trying to think what I saw. I think it was just some spikes. I don't think I had a lot of action that night. I don't remember what Chase saw, but it wasn't. Oh no, I do remember. Chase had a what he thinks was a nice deer come out at last light. When I say last light, I'm talking he had his stuff put up. He was about to walk out of past
Yeah.
shooting light, and he could like see the ground can kind of like come up to the white antlers, and saw the deer. You could tell it had horns. He thought it was a pretty decent deer, but then it was so dark. He was kind of going off his ears, and he thinks he had a bigger deer come out because he kind of see the reflection of another body
Really?
come out, run that deer off, and then they took off down into the oak bottom and went running off. So think it could have been one of the bigger deer. I don't know. We haven't at this point we have 3 cameras out because we went and got some more cameras, got them in different areas. Haven't really seen the big deer yet, but all the sign points to some big deer, a lot of scrub bucks and stuff like that.
And a whole bunch of rubs there.
Whole bunch of rubs, but we kind of getting scrub bucks and spikes and kind of messed up horns. But it's in a good area.
And didn't you say I could come maybe next year and clean some of those up?
Yeah, we're getting them planned together. A little work on this property. So, we didn't have much, but we kind of figured like the best shot, the most sign we're seeing is kind of where we're hunting. Because the other part of the property is like a pine thicket. So it's kind of like hardwoods on this ridge and goes down into a really pretty hardwood oak bottom. And then it comes up and it's a lot of pines and pine thickets. And we're seeing all the action on the hardwood side. So it's supposed to be cold. So I put on all the clothes I can muster up. Which is funny because we're in a small town, very small town in Alabama. We were staying in a hotel, and they're like, well, we can't extend the night because we actually are full. And it's like, don't expect this place to be full because it's a very small town. So we had to get another hotel. And this is kind of the funny, interesting part of the story, I should say. Chase's buddy, who actually owns the property, was actually coming through town on the way to Mobile. But he ended up catching a hotel where we work, and so I met him the next day, and he had some more cameras and stuff for the property. And so we're standing out in front of the hotel, and this is 4 to 4:30 in the morning.
I remember he told me the story last night. It's funny.
This is 4:30 in the morning, and a guy comes running around the side of the building. And he was dressed nice. He didn't look sketchy or anything. And he was like, "Hey, can one of y'all jump me off?" He was like, "My truck's dead, won't crank. It's around here in the back, gray truck." It's like the lady in the hotel room gave me a booster box, but it doesn't have enough juice. It just need a little more. And Chase is big old boy, like 6'5", and his buddy Jeremy's as tall as he is. And Chase is like, "Yeah, I'll come jump you off in a minute." And we were getting some things out of the trucks, and all of us were standing there, and he was like, "So y'all going deer hunting?" I'm like, I think one of us was like, "Yeah, we're gonna see what we can see." And he goes, "Well, I've never killed a deer, but I've killed 35 people." and it's kind of like, huh? This is 4:30 in the morning in a small Alabama city. Like, yeah, I was a sniper and blah, blah. And I don't remember what he said, but he was alluding to the fact that he was in the military and killed 35 people. And that's like the second sentence he said to us, which was extremely weird. And so Chase was like, "Give us a minute. We'll come around there and help you jump your truck off." And he's like, "Hey, you got me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to watch your back on this one." So we drive around, and sure enough, his truck's there with the hood up, and Chase goes over there and hooks it up and gets his truck cranked. And I pull up, I'm far enough away, I get out of my truck, I'm kind of watching over everything. And it's all said and done, and Chase gets in his truck, drives away, and we're both driving away. And then this guy turns and starts running full speed at Chase's truck and is knocking on his window as he's driving away. And I guess Chase stops and rolls down the window, and guy was like, rips his shirt off, and he has another shirt on under, like a red shirt. He rips whatever shirt he had on. He's trying to give it to Chase, and Chase is like, "No." And granted, this dude's probably a size medium, And Chase is 6'5". He's a big guy, and he wouldn't be able to wear it anyway. And so he literally just takes the shirt and throws it in Chase's truck as Chase is trying to drive away, and then turns around and runs back to his truck. And we go to the gas station, talk about how weird it is. So after all that said and done, we got our coffee at the gas station, all that, and hit the road. A lot of people, actually hunters all over the gas station. They're like, "You see any deer?" It's like, "Well, no. Up until this point, haven't seen a lot of big deer." And like, "Yeah, we haven't seen any big deer." So it's kind of the same vibe that we're getting. A lot of people said they weren't seeing what they normally see, just as far as the rut goes and all that kind of stuff. But we go back and hunt, and trying to think, I ended up seeing 8 deer that morning, all does. Didn't see any horns.
Well, didn't you see 8-point at one time?
Oh, I take it back. Yeah, Tuesday night. I completely forgot all about that. Tuesday night, I had the spikes, but it was probably about 4:30. Yeah, let's back up. I completely forgot about it. The best deer I saw all day, or the whole trip. I was sitting in the ladder stand, a little janky ladder stand, and I hear something walking, and it's all been very quiet. And you can hear when a deer walks. If you've been in the woods, you know the difference between a squirrel and a deer. And I'm like, I hear a deer. This is actually probably 4:30, and but it's in the worst spot. It is literally, if I'm looking straight ahead in this ladder stand, it's behind me. It would be at like
the 8-point.
Yeah, it would be in the woods about 35 yards.
Seriously,
and it would be probably my 5 o'clock, in between my 5 and 6 o'clock, almost directly behind me. And I have this bar around me, and I can't really sit in it. It's weird. And so I'm trying to see, and I can turn around and look around the tree. So I turn to my left and look around the tree enough to where I can tell that there's a deer, and he's actually in there working a scrape. and I could tell he has horns, but I'm like, he looks like a 6-point. I couldn't really see a whole lot, but it didn't look like a deer that I was going to shoot. So I kind of lowered my guard down and just kind of waited. And he stayed in there for a while. And actually, I text Chase. I'm like, "Hey, I got a buck behind me. I think it's a little 6-point or something." But I stopped hearing him. I'm like, I feel like he winded me, because the wind was supposed to be coming out of the north, and it was blowing out of the southwest, which was weird. So it was just kind of swirling in this bottom. And then about 5 minutes goes by, and I hear the walking again. And he comes and he steps to the edge of the not food plot, but edge to the clearing that I'm looking at. And I could tell what it was. It was a little 8-point. He wasn't super wide, didn't have big brows, but he was pretty tall. Yeah, like semi-tall.
Yeah.
It was a pretty deer.
Well, now is he still behind you or in front of you?
Yeah, he's behind me. So if I'm sitting in this ladder stand looking straight ahead, I have to turn all the way around, and he came out at probably between my 7 and 8 o'clock. So right about here. And he's about 20 yards away. And I pulled my phone out and I was videoing him, and he kind of comes out, and then he looks at me, and he doesn't spook. He doesn't win me. He just kind of tells there's something up there, and then he just kind of looks around and walks across the little clearing and into the woods. And then I hear him making all sorts of noise in the woods and kind of to my left. And
I mean, you could have used your bow.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, most of these deer I saw were within bow range. So yeah, I did see that deer, and he walked all in the woods, and then there wasn't a whole bunch after that. But then that Wednesday morning, our last sit, I had a couple does come out. Actually, let me take it back. And it was a beautiful morning, and it was cold.
This Wednesday?
This was the last one. This was the one I was originally talking about, where I saw the 8 does. It was cold, and when I say it's cold, I was on a ladder stand, didn't have any insulation under me, and it just got chilly. But right at like 6:40, 6:45, like right when the sun's coming up, right when the shooting light's happening, I hear those steps in the woods, and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, it's on!" Because like that's when you really think that a big deer is going to come out. You can barely see, but it's shooting light, and I hear it, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer, and like I'm stoked, I'm ready, and it's close, like it's coming from my right to my left in the woods, and you can like hear it right when it gets to the edge of the kind of clearing, and you're like, I should see this deer, and like I'm hyped up, I'm ready for it, and I'm just thinking this is going to be the monster that we all want. That we're looking for. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It walks out, and it's a yearling. It's a yearling doe. It may be a button head. I don't know, but it was small. Its face was not long. It was just a little deer, and I was a complete letdown. And it was 100% by itself. It came out at probably 12 yards. I mean, I could have definitely shot it with a bow.
Even I could have shot that thing with a bow.
Yeah, and it walks in the clearing and walks kind of down, smells a little scrape, and then walks in the woods. And yeah, I was so high and then so low because I thought it was going to be a monster, and it turned out to be the complete opposite. And then I had a couple does come out. I had a nice old doe. I'm talking neck was
You
long.
pop it?
No, neck was long as a country mile. It was actually really light colored. It was with another deer that was super dark, and it was really light. Saw those, had kind of, so if I'm looking straight ahead, I can only see about 80 yards, and there's like a creek, and on the other side of the creek is just crazy thick grass. I mean, and there's actually a scrape over there, and I think they bed down over there. And
you have any videos of that doe? Because I want to see it. If you do,
I don't think I have any videos of any of the does. But then I caught movement in that high grass across the creek, and
yeah,
I thought I got excited again. It was a doe, and then I watched, and it was 4 does, and then I had like 2 or 3 more does come out after that. So it was doe central, but it was a ball, a lot of potential over there, and that kind of wrapped up the hunt.
Was there any squirrel-mageddons over there?
Yeah, there's a lot of squirrels, whole lot of squirrel-mageddons. And we sat till about 10, and that was it. So we had 4 sits in call it two real days.
And also, you're supposed to say it Squirrelideddon. Squirrelideddon.
No, it's Squirrel-mageddon.
I know, you try to say it with one word though.
I don't have to now. But it was really fun place. You know, I think we got a plan together to do some kind of habitat improvement and some work on it. Or Chase does. I told him I'd help however I could, but probably get over there next year and do some work. We may or may not get over there before the end of the season. I think Chase wants to get over there one more time. Just depends on scheduling and how that works out. But it'd be nice to have a late season spot over in Alabama because they go to the 10th. But that was it. Quick little trip. It was fun. It's always nice to see some new ground, especially some new ground that maybe you can give some suggestions on or do some improvements on and that kind of thing. And then the big thing too is Wednesday morning, I'm sitting there and I hear something. I'm like, what is that? I hear it again. I heard a hen turkey yelp.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I heard it's like right after first light, so it'd be kind of like their locator yelp. It wasn't super loud, but it was like it was one of those, and it's 3 of them, and then it went quiet. So that got me really fired up, and it was on the property exactly where I would think turkeys would be. It's actually where 2 little water tributaries or creeks kind of run together. So you know how like they run together and make a Y, and then it comes out into one.
Yeah.
Turkeys love that in there, kind of where they can roost up on the backside of water, and it was like right there. If I was like looking at this property as a public property to go look for turkeys, it's exactly where I would go look. So I was pretty stoked about that because I may or may not be able to turkey hunt over here. And
do you have to have a tag?
Yeah. Well, you have to buy a license, and Alabama is extremely proud of their out-of-state license for non-residents.
Oh,
it's strong. I'll give them that, but you got to stay legal, so you got to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. Quick trip, fun trip. Could have shot plenty of deer, but nothing. You know, it's not like we're hurting for deer meat.
No.
And so yeah, we got our camera set up. We have a little better idea of what's happening over there. And if we do get back there this year, we'll have a better game plan for sure.
And I'll come.
Maybe not. Right now, the struggle is there's not anywhere to stay there, so you gotta. And Chase is too bougie to sleep in tents or the things that I keep on my truck. If it was me, I just pull us out of the gate and pop the tent. You know, I hope he listens to this. He's too bougie to sleep in a tent. Yeah, be all right. So yeah, that was it. Aside from that, baseballing, got practice.
Got a new Cam Woods bat.
Cam Wood.
Cam Wood.
Yeah, it's a training bat, kind of help with your hand speed and your swing path.
Like, you ever see those weird bats, like normal bat, and then you have a big, like, more of a barrel, but it's not more of a barrel.
No, it's weight closer to your hands to keep your bat path. You got that. You got a Rawlings Heart of Hide catcher's mitt.
Yeah, really and nice. I have another bat coming in today.
Just a one-piece alloy bat because your fancy bats you can't hit in sub-60-degree weather.
Yeah.
So you got practice. We got things we got to do, and you got tournaments at the end of February. So I want you to have another option.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joe's.
I learned what suicide is today.
Oh yeah, like running suicide.
Yeah.
We were out there.
Running suicide.
Yeah, anybody that's done grew up playing basketball or football or anything like that knows what running suicides are. He got it to run him one today. He only got one in, but
Yeah.
it was fun. He got to touch every white line and run back. If you don't know what those are, it's like if you're on a basketball court, you run every line and come back. So like you touch your first line, run back to your starting point, touch your second line, go back to your starting point, third line. So he actually he completed one, but his first one he ever did. He likes running. He ran some laps, did that, did some fielding work, did some hitting work, and all soft toss. We didn't even throw today.
So. Worked on presenting my glove to the ball, which I struggle with.
You like to flip your glove. You're effective, but we want to get out of that habit. So work on presenting your glove instead of flipping it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really about it. Our season's winding down here. We got until the 31st. I think today is the 23rd on Friday. So we got, how many days is that? 8? 8 more days. And apparently we have an ice storm rolling in, which most of the South does. We may or may not get rain or ice. Who knows?
You never know with these weathermen.
But it's supposed to get chilly. I think the low Monday is 17.
Oh, yeah.
So Monday and Tuesday are going to be cold. And if it's not just a sheet of ice, we may have to find our way into the woods.
Yeah.
Go see what we can see when it gets cold. So
I'm going to go and do my tip. It's baseball, though.
Oh, we got a baseball tip today.
So I'm going to do 2 of them.
Okay.
It's 2 that I struggle with.
Okay.
Don't turn your head when you swing. That is very important when you're hitting.
That is baseball 101. Keep your eye on the ball.
But also, the cause of that is overswinging. So try not to overswing either.
Well, yeah. For you, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you actually do a pretty good job of keeping your head down. But when you really hunker down and try to hit one harder than you need to, your entire upper body goes out and your head goes with it.
I'm like, ballerina.
Yeah, you look like you're trying to do some twirls. It's not pretty. It doesn't happen all the time. It's actually pretty few and far between. But
it used to happen all the time, thougd
I don't know about that. You've always been a pretty good hitter, and everybody has that from time to time. But what do I tell you? If you watch Shohei Ohtani hit, his head never moves through his entire swing. It's almost like it's cemented in the ground, and it's just right there. It never moves. And he's arguably the best hitter in baseball right now. So.
Yeah, and then there's Freddie Freeman. And then I guess you can put whoever else you want to do.
There's a bunch
there next to him.
Freddie's just the definition of fundamentals and clutch.
Yes.
Clutch goes a long way for me.
Grand slam to win the game. I mean,
I like people that perform in the clutch. And whether you like the Dodgers or not, when they played in the World Series, Freddie Freeman carried that team for the first 4 games. Anyway, that's all I got about baseball and hunting. You got anything else?
I got a joke. I'm not sure it's going to be very good, though.
It'll be on par with the rest of them.
In a brunch, what dish would a pitcher be?
I have no idea.
A pitcher.
Yeah, that's about like the rest of them. I'm glad you enjoy it. So, all right. I think we're right at 30 minutes. We're probably pretty good. All right. Tell them what they need to do.
Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
All right.
We'll catch you next time.